TLC was started in response to the HIV/AIDS epidemic and the violence in our country about 30 years ago now. So about a year and a half ago now, we were fortunate enough to get this property and to move all our children from our original facility onto this new facility, and it has been such a godsend. We've had over 900 children through our children's home that we've run since then. But what we've really noticed is that we haven't really stemmed the flow of children coming into our system. How do we help the babies stay in their communities with supported and equipped families? And that's been really exciting for us. So one of our programs, of course, is our vulnerable children that we bring in who have been abandoned, orphaned, or otherwise separated from their biological families. And we do a huge amount of care for them, managing their trauma, understanding that a baby gets hurt even before they're born. They can be hurt emotionally, physically, because stress changes your brain. How do we do that? Because you need enough hands, you need enough hearts, you need enough people invested in the babies. And that allowed us to open up our programs to also include vulnerable mothers, mothers who have articulated that they are at risk of having to separate from their babies because they are poor, they've been rejected or neglected or unsupported in another way. And they were asking us initially, could we take their baby from them when it's born?
I'm part of the Mother's Hope program, which is a program that supports vulnerable women emotionally, physically, and financially.
I came to TLC when I was 14 years old and I was 7 months pregnant. The reason I went to TLC was because I was going to give my baby up and I was going to carry on with my life.
There's a lot of stuff that pregnant women need, and I just knew that those needs were not going to be met. So I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know what to do. I cried alone. I had lost hope, and the only thing that I prayed for was to wake up in the morning and see blood hand in my mind. I wanted to keep the baby, but on the other hand, I just didn't know how to do. So when I sat down and I searched about TLC, I contacted a woman called Joanna at TLC, and by that time I didn't have hope. My circumstances at home were not so good, but now she's able to experience everything, and they offered for her to come and stay here. So we stay in our little house, and she's, for the first time in 7 years, she owns her room. And then I've got my own room, and she sleeps with her little sister.
We bring the mummies in, we embrace them into our community, we help them deliver safely and with the support of a sisterhood of women who really is here to encourage and nurture that mommy heart. And then once the baby is born and we are able to help the mommy to come to a decision that works for her. So as I said, there's no expectation that the mommy will retain her relationship with her baby. But if she chooses to separate, we can do so kindly in a much less brutal way than abandonment, which is commonly the way of choice for a lot of mummies in desperate situations.
Growing up with an aunt who was not my mother, who was treating me badly, then I learned that when I'm getting old, I will study the course of the CYC, so that I can help the children who need their love and support. That's why I've been doing that job.
I want to do more of the child therapy because the children that we get here at TLC come with lots of anxiety and emotions. And I believe that before we can teach the children anything, and for them to be able to absorb anything, we need to work with the emotions that they're currently facing.
Trauma is intergenerational. We pass it down on to the generations after us. So we want to make sure we deal with the mommy's trauma as quickly as possible and as effectively as possible. We have multiple dimensions of our program that deal with not only the physical body, but the heart and the mind as well.
Along TLC's journey, we've learned a lot about trauma. In the last couple of decades, so much research has been happening in the field of neurobiology. Every month, more and more publications come out that tell us that negative experiences change the actual physical biology of your brain.
So the program is designed to make sure that the mother is really equipped to stand independently once she leaves. So it's a long-term program. It's a 3-year residential, really immersive program for the mummies. They come when they're still pregnant. We do a lot of trauma work, we do counseling, we do parenting training, we help equip them for what to expect when the baby's delivered, and then how do they manage after that.
Mother's Hope program has helped me a lot. Before I came to TLC, I was a wreck. I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know where to go.
My daughter is now 21 and she's overseas. She's doing au pair. She's au pairing there for a year. And I feel like because of the way of the environment that she grew up at TLC, she felt like working with children is what she wanted to do.
So I arrived at TLC as a 13-month-old baby. And the way I had landed up at TLC was being abandoned. My parents got into an argument, and that's when I was left. We do know that in the community, we found that a lot of children who come from spaces like children's homes, etc., suffer from a lot of trauma, and so it's really important that they get a program and they get the proper building, because in so many households, people think that when you're 18 years old, that's when you're ready to just leave the nest and fly high. And a lady who knew TLC picked me up from where I was left, picked me up and took me to a place of safe care, landed up at TLC, very confused, which we see with our babies now, very confused, lost, and not understanding what was going on.
Shout to Thrive has definitely helped me to manage my emotions better and my money, as you do get income from working in a nursery. It's helped me to develop personally, because it does teach me how to handle emotions with kids and to be more patient. And it does put you through courses, like training courses, to help you develop and be better at what you do here.
Most of the time I sort our donations, and there are a lot of donations thanks to a lot of beautiful people. And I help everywhere where I can. And of course, I love to be with the children.
Happy to be part of the organization and the family. And we love the organization, we love the people, and we are happy to be back in principle each year.
Wababiza bongo noa